George, it's been a busy summer.
Indeed.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Lugano,
Yeah.
sell Frankie, bring in Federico. And so we thought that this would be a good idea to sort of connect with you. We had an interview with Joe in Orlando, and we figured that next person to talk to in terms of what's been going on with the club in this busy summer would be you. So we're glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
So first off, you're almost 2 years into this project, and since you've come to Chicago, you had to put together a roster in a few months, a very short runway. We had a pandemic. We had a number of starts and stops last year. What has this project and this process been like for you amidst a market that we've never really seen before?
Despite everything, exciting, still exciting because there's so much going on. It's been busy, but always exciting. Everything we tried to make it thoroughly. Not everything worked out. That's clear. But we will keep on doing our homework, and hopefully we'll get there where we want to be.
So this summer transfer window, selling Frankie to Lens in Ligue 1 and bringing in Federico Navarro. Now, not a ton of movement, but two big pieces in Frankowski, who gave a number of great years to this club, and bringing in a profile player like Federico Navarro, a very specific type of player. What was the thought process going into this summer transfer window, and how do you feel that the club did?
Well, we knew that we'd lose Frankie sooner or later because he really shined in this league. It's a good story for everybody. Frankie came from and I mean this with all respect, but he came from a smaller club in Europe to MLS, and now he plays in one of the top 5 leagues of the world. So nice story. Of course, always sad when you lose players like Frankie, players of this quality. I think he deserves to play in a top 5 league. The timing is always difficult for MLS clubs. To lose players in summer is no fun, but it's for everybody the same in this league, and we have to deal with it. And on the other hand, Federico Navarro, hopefully a big signing for us. We tried for months to sign him. It was very complicated. It's never easy to sign good players. It's a good sign if it takes long, because then you know it's a good player. It was extremely complicated, and we are very happy to have him here. He looks good. He looks really sharp. He'll need a couple of trainings, that's clear, because due to the quarantine and the regulations, he couldn't train with the team in the past few days, but he'll help the team soon, I'm pretty sure.
Let's take a step back for a second and more of a broad picture. Now with the purchase of FC Lugano, and we'll get into that in a moment, but how do you want the rest of the world, the rest of Major League Soccer within the transfer market and what you're dealing with, how do you want them to view the Chicago Fire?
As a place that attracts talent. That's the main goal, because talent in the end will lead to success. That's a little bit, everybody says this, but that's what we want. We want to have really exciting players. We want our fans to have fun when they come into the stadium, to be entertained, and step by step we will get there. Yeah.
And the purchase of FC Lugano, obviously big news, and Joe clearly with a shout that this is a long-term project for this club with the acquisition of Lugano. What does that mean for the Fire, and how is it going to help Chicago Fire, and what should Fire fans know about this acquisition and how it's going to play into the larger picture?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, another complicated transaction. So it was a bit a complicated summer, but in the end, everything worked out. It gives us flexibility. In Lugano, they play from July to May. Here we play from February, March to November, December. The short transfer window here is in summer. In Lugano, it's in winter. So we have a certain flexibility. Of course, we will always have to speak with our players what they want, because in Europe, you cannot simply move players from one place to the other. But we think that, for example, a player who doesn't play very often here could go to Lugano and get his minutes there. And so we don't lose the value of the player, and we could bring him back, hopefully one day to Chicago. There should be a partnership between the clubs. It's not meant that Lugano is a pure feeder club, but of course our main focus is here in Chicago.
So when you were in between the 20 and 21 season, you said that you just wanted the average age of this club to get younger. Not only has it gotten younger, but homegrowns and Chicagoland products have really thrived. You think about Mauricio Pineda becoming a regular starter in just his second year and in his rookie year as well. Gaga Slonina becomes the youngest MLS goalkeeper to start a game. Brian Gutierrez got a number of starts at the beginning of the season, is making an impact off the bench. How have you sort of viewed the Chicago Fire Academy and the players that have been coming through, and how do you see it long term?
Very happy with the work that has been done there. Cedric and his team, they do an amazing job. It's not easy to raise talents. There's more to come. I think we'll have some news in the upcoming weeks regarding homegrowns. We should not forget also that Alex Moniz, for example, for me, he has progressed a lot in the past months. He's really focused on his profession, and it is a profession in the end. It's always a joy to see a homegrown playing in Soldier Field, and I think we saw it when Guti played, also when Gaga played, that it's also something special for the fans, of course, because it's also identification with our crest, with our club in the end. And on the other hand, also the homegrowns have to have a certain level, otherwise we cannot play them. It's also clear, it's not for granted that they play. So, and I think very promising from what we saw. They have to keep on learning. It's still a learning process for them, and then hopefully they will play more and more in the upcoming years.
Another young player, not necessarily a homegrown, John Duran, the signing that we made, basically in the offseason last year. Some people might start to forget about him, but he's coming in January once he turns 18 and, obviously applies to all the FIFA rules. What should Fire fans expect from this young player that had a lot of attention from some bigger clubs in Europe as well?
He had indeed. Very talented player, physically strong, good speed. For a striker, really good speed, powerful. He scored quite regularly this season. He's still only 17, we should not forget. He, at the moment, besides the team training, he also trains individually. We organized a coaching staff for him because we want him to be in a good shape once he comes here in January. And we can also measure this. The metrics are good. He's improving on all levels. All skills are getting better, and we're really excited to get him here in January.
So the U22 initiative, aka Young Money, an initiative that maybe some Fire fans aren't particularly familiar with, or maybe like Tam, they just sort of get lost in the weeds of what it all means. But with Ignacio Aliceta on the roster as a young designated player, it allows the Fire to have 3 of those players, which essentially means you can have 3 players under the age of 22 who can make up to about $600,000, but only $200,000 or $150,000, depending on the age, counts towards the actual salary cap, which is around $5 million. What should Fire fans sort of expect from the Chicago Fire with relation to that Young Money initiative?
It gives us a certain flexibility, and it's something very good, I think, for the whole league because it attracts talent in the end. And Duran is a good example for that. Duran will be one of the young players that we were able to sign because obviously we had to pay a transfer fee for this talent, which is logical. It's a global market, we should not forget, and MLS gave us now a tool to be more competitive on the global market, and it's really a good thing.
Well, who's the first rapper that comes to your mind when you think of Young Money?
Next question. Next question.
All right, we'll move on from that. The answer is Lil Wayne, but that's okay. That's not something you need to know.
Yeah.
So my last question for you is MLS is so incredibly niche in the way that we go about our business in the world market. It's not an open market where you can just spend money willy-nilly, but There's so many different rules, TAM, GAM, Young Money initiatives, DPs. What have you learned since, almost being about 2 years into this project and trying to build a roster within Major League Soccer?
A lot. I learn from Eddie Rock mainly every day because Eddie is the main responsible. He's in charge of our salary budget. He's, by the way, doing an amazing job in that. And don't rush on the market. Always have 1 or 2 spots open. Always have spots open, especially bear in mind with the Lugano strategy that we have to possibly exchange players with Lugano. We should make sure that in both clubs we always have 1, 2, 3 spots open so that we have a certain flexibility. I learned a lot.
Yeah. And one more personal question. What's it like been living in Chicago?
Well, great. I mean, it's been a great summer. The weather in Europe, unfortunately, has been terrible. But here it has been great. No, it's a fantastic city to live, no doubt about that. And it also attracts players.
All right, George, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it, and best of luck the rest of the way this season and in future seasons.
Thanks for having me.